with.
And I'm going to go on the limb, and I'm going to make a big statement, and I'm sure the phone lines are going to start to blow up. But I will say that, the trade-off is worth giving it everything you got to do it in a mature type way. I will go as far as to say that a non-custodial parent cannot be as good of a parent as a custodial parent. We're not talking about the exception.
Right.
We're talking about a good custodial parent, a good non-custodial parent. Like for me, there's really no way.
And
you can be good in the sense of dealing with the situation at the best of your ability, but you cannot be great. You can't, like, if you can't wake up to your child. I mean, it's so many just small lessons,
lessons.
Brushing the teeth every day, showing your son how to stand up and piss, or you know what I mean, putting him to bed, reading him a bedtime story, getting up in the morning, watching him shave, or watching him, because it's certain things that you as a man can say, well, I learned this watching my father.
Exactly.
And you think children learn based on consistency, based on repetition.
And
observation. So if they're seeing you every single day doing this routine, they're knowing what a man looks like. I'm not going to say as good of a father. You can't be as effective. You can't be an effective father.
As
a custodial father could.
I hate to say this, but I agree. Like I agree that you can't be
as effective.
You cannot be as effective because you're missing out on some very precious moments. Like, for instance, like for a father with in my case, a daughter, daughters or whatnot. If my daughter wakes up having a bad dream, I want to be the person there to, baby, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here to protect. I'm your father. I'm here to look over you and protect you. So there are certain instances that I can't get those days back. You know what I'm saying? So it may be a thing of being good and great, right? I agree. You can be good, but I don't know about great. I don't know.
You're on Control Chaos.
Hey, how you guys doing? I got a question for Heat.
Okay.
Okay, sister. I'm trying to understand. Okay, when you say the non-custodial parent is not as effective or is not as good as the custodial parent.
I changed it to not as effective, but yes, I did say that.
Yeah, okay, so, what I'm trying to understand, I get where you're coming from, but I guess what we're missing is, do the fathers know, or even mothers that don't have full custody, do they know that, you can have joint custody. What about the joint custody? If you're a strong parent, either way that it goes, why not share the custody? I don't understand that. That's where I get lost at a lot of times. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Did you grow up in a house with your mom and dad?
I did. I was actually the caller that just called you guys first.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Or let's just think about if you had to spend half your time with all of your things, all of your friends in the neighborhood, all of whatever in one household, and then you had to get picked up and uprooted to go stay somewhere else for the other half of the time. Like, just think about how you grew up. Like, which one do you prefer? Like, that's almost like the whole joint physical custody. Now, I commend the non-custodial parents that go for it because you are putting forth the effort to be the best parent you can. And it's not to say that you're not a good parent. You are a great parent. You're a great man or woman or whatever for fighting for your kids. But at the same time, if you're a good parent there every single day, day in, day out, of course you're more effective than a person that's not there.
Okay, and I understand, like I said, I understand where you're coming from, but I just know personally a situation where there's a man and woman, they have joint custody, and they pretty much live in the same area. So the child isn't really, he may be taken out of the neighborhood or whatever, but personally the mother is more of a detriment of a bad lifestyle to that child than the father is, but the father works a whole lot. And so his wife helps raise the child. But the mother is just, she has 5 children and she's lousy. But if you think about it that way, she has more custody and I just don't see that as her being more positive in that aspect.
And when I started the conversation off, we also said that there's always an exception. So we're not talking about the lousy non-custodial or the lousy custodial and the great non-custodial. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the upstanding, the great parent,
the good responsible parent. Anytime you take a child, anytime you take one child from one home and send them, the other parent comes and picks them up and they take them over to another home or whatnot, that child has some type of emotional feelings about that. Like, let's just be real. Like,
it's
for
like
the
parent. That's not the best for the child. That's for the parent.
Yeah, because I think that affects the child, even if the parents are good parents. They're still like, okay, something is unnatural about this, because over here I'm with mommy, now I'm over here with daddy, and it's just like, it's something that just doesn't seem to be right. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so again, when I called earlier, and I explained about us basically being raised in the same type of household with two parents, I didn't add that after my brothers and I graduated from high school, my mom decided to leave my father. Okay. So as an adult woman, I realized that my mom stayed all those years unhappy for the sake of being in a relationship for her children, which is what the topic is tonight.
Do you respect her for doing that? Do you respect her for doing that?
No, it hurt me inside. That's my mom. And however you look at it, it hurts to know that your parents suffered a life. I mean, we're living it now. We're adults. I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
See it.
I mean, I respect your opinion, but I feel like I have a best friend that her parents are still together. The same thing that, she knows now that growing up that her parents stayed merely just for that. I mean, absolutely, you respect you respect your parents for me, and like the conversation we've had with her parents, we respect them to the utmost for staying. And had they not stayed together, they probably would not have been able to instill in her and her brothers and sisters the things that they did by staying together. So yes, the respect is there. However, if they were to divorce today, as long as they still did it in a very mature way, you still have respect for them. But I feel like the trade-off and all the lessons and experiences and things that you instill in your kids is worth it. If you say you disagree, hey, we agree to disagree, and we okay with that.
Right.
No, and I actually, when you ask me, do I respect my mom for it? Correction. I do respect my mom for it. It hurt. I guess it just hurt me because I knew she was unhappy, but I did miss something. I played sports, and my father was always the one there for all my games, all my practices, and my mother really didn't have that connection. And it wasn't until I had my own children that I got that motherly connection with my mother. Now, we talk every day now. I never had that connection with my mom through high school, and I believe it was because she was focused on life, not dealing with my father or whatever the case. And it wasn't an abusive situation. I never seen my parents argue, ever. It was a shock to me. And so all of that, they respected their children and raised their children. And I don't think my father saw it coming either.
I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to take a break. But just like as you said with that, your parents were able to stay together. They were able to do it in a very mature type way. You respect her to this day. If they separated today, or you said they did separate, you've learned even more from the situation. So at the end of the day, your life is still winning. I hate to cut you off. We got to take a break, guys. Thank you. We got to take a break. It's getting live. We only got a little bit more time, but we're going to come back. We're going to make the most of it. When we get back, we're still going to talk about, some solutions. We're going to talk about some things to look out for, some things to think about when you are, trying to make a very fast decision to leave or to stay or whatever. You guys, you're on with Control Chaos on iWatchRadio.com. Go like the Facebook page. We'll be back.